axial skeleton. It lies along the longitudinal axis. Longitudinal axis of the body. It supports and protects the organs of the head, neck, and trunk. Head, neck, and trunk. It comprises of the 80 bones. It includes skull, vertebral column, sternum, and ribs. The skull is composed of two sets of bone, that is the cranial and the facial. Cranial and facial. The totals of 22 bones. Cranial bones are 8 in number. They form the of head protective, heart protective outer covering, cranium for the brain. The facial bone is made up of the 14 skeletal animals which form the front part of the skull. This is the frontal bone. Then comes the parietal bone, and the front of that, this is the temporal bone, and the lower is the occipital. Here it is the ethmoid bone, lacrimal bone, nasal bone. And this is the maxilla. This is the mandible or the hyoid bone. And parietal. Then this is the occipital. This is the temporal. Sphenoid. Ethmoid. Maxilla. Mandible. Zygomatic bone. The occipital condyle. A single U-shaped bone called the hyoid bone is present at the base of buccal cavity, and it is also included in the skull. A single U-shaped bone, which is the hyoid bone, base of buccal cavity, included in the skull also. Each middle ear contains 3 tiny bones, malleus, incus, and the stapes. Malleus, incus, and stapes, collectively called the ear ossicles. The skull region articulates with the superior region of the vertebral column with the help of two occipital condyles, that is a dicondylic skull. Our skull is the dicondylic cause of two occipital condyles. Vertebral column is also called the backbone of the spine, is formed by the 26 serially arranged units called the vertebrae and is dorsally placed. 26 vertebra. It extends from the base of the skull and constitutes the main framework of the trunk. Each vertebra has a central hollow portion that is a neural canal through which the spinal cord passes. First vertebra is the atlas and it articulates with the occipital condyles and supports the head. The vertebral column is differentiated into the cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coccygeal. Cervical is the 7, thoracic are the 12, lumbar is the 5, sacral is the 1 fused, coccygeal is the 1 fused region starting from the skull. The number of cervical vertebrae are 7 in almost all mammals, including human beings. The vertebral column protects the spinal cord, supports the head, and serves as the point of attachment for the ribs and the musculature of the back. Second cervical vertebra is known as axis and it has a peg-like process called the odontoid process. The second cervical vertebra. Second cervical vertebra has a peg-like process. Peg-like process, or the odontoid process. The human vertebral formula, that is C7 T12 L5 S1 C1. Sternum is a flat bone on the vertebral midline of thorax. Coccyx is a vestigial tail. Sternum and the coccyx. Sternum is a flat bone on the ventral midline of thorax. Midline of thorax, and coccyx is the vestigial tail. There are 12 pairs of ribs. Each rib is a thin flat bone connected dorsally to the vertebral column and ventrally to the sternum. And it has two articulation surface on its dorsal and is hence called the bicephalic. Bicephalic because it has two articulation surfaces. Bicephalic, two articulation surfaces. On its dorsal end. The first 7 pairs of the ribs are called the true ribs. Dorsally, they are attached to the thoracic vertebra and ventrally connected to the sternum with the help of the hyaline cartilage. First 7 ribs are true ribs. And the 8th, 9th and 10th do not articulate directly with the sternum but join the 7th rib with the help of hyaline cartilage. The 8th, 9th and 10th do not articulate with the sternum directly but join the 7th rib with the help of hyaline cartilage. The last 2 pairs, 11th and 12th, are the floating ribs. Thoracic vertebrae, ribs and sternum together form the rib cage. together form the rib cage. Ribs protects the vital organs like heart, lungs, and kidneys. They provide the surface for the attachment of the muscles connected with the respiratory mechanism. Next, we have the appendicular skeleton. The bones of the limbs along with the girdles constitute the appendicular skeleton. Each limb is made up of, we have, this is our axial. This is the skull, ossicle, hyoid bone, vertebral column, and the rib cage. In appendicular, we have shoulder girdle, arm, hand, pelvic girdle, leg, and the foot. Each limb is made up of 30 bones. The bones of the hand, forelimb are humerus, radius, ulna, carpals. Wrist bones are 18 in number. Metacarpal palm bones are the 5 in number, and the phalanges digits are the 14 in number. Femur thigh bone, the longest bone, tibia and the fibula, tarsals, ankle bone, 7 in number. Metatarsals 5 in number, and phalanges digits 14 in number are the bones of the legs hind limb. A cup-shaped bone called the patella or cover the knee ventrally kneecap. The femur is the longest, largest, and the strongest bone in the body. Pectoral and pectoral girdle helps in the articulation of the upper and the lower limbs respectively with the axial skeleton. Now the pectoral girdle. Okay. Pedicle consists of the 30 bones. Bones of hand. Four limbs. Humerus, radius, ulna. Carpals are the wrist bones. Carpals are the wrist bones which are 8 in number. Metacarpals palm bones. 5. When we have the phalanges, which are the digits, they are 14 in number. Then we have the femur, which is a thigh bone, which is the longest bone also. The next is the tibia and fibula tarsals, ankle bone, tibia, fibula, and tarsals are the ankle bones, which are 7 in number. Then we have metatarsals, which are 5 in number. Then we have phalanges, which are 14 in number, are the bones of legs hind limb. These are the hind limb, legs bone. A cup-shaped bone called the patella, which cover the Pectoral girdle. नहीं, we were at the cup-shaped bone called the cover the knee ventrally kneecap. The femur is the longest, largest, and strongest in the body. Pectoral and pelvic girdle help in the articulation of the upper and the lower limbs respectively with the axial skeleton. Now the pectoral girdle. Each half of the pectoral girdle consists of the two bones, one clavicle and the one scapula. So here is the upper arm. This is the leg. Where is the upper arm? This is the one clavicle and the one scapula. Okay, the scapular shoulder blade consists of a sharp ridge, the spine, and a triangular body, and is situated in the dorsal part of the thorax between the second and the seventh limb. The end of the spine projects as a flattened and expanded process called the acromion. This process articulates with the clavicle. Through process called acromion. Below the acromion is the depression called the glenoid cavity, which articulates with the head of the humerus to form the shoulder joint. Clavicle bone is also called the collarbone. Glenoid cavity which articulates with the head of the humerus to form the shoulder joint. It is below the acromion. Next is the pelvic girdle. The pelvic girdle consists of the two coxal hip bones. The coxal bones are also called the ossa coxae or the innominate bones. Each coxal bone is formed by the fusion of the three bones, ilium, ischium, and the pubis. At the point of the fusion of these bones is the cavity called the acetabulum. Acetabulum is the point of fusion. The two halves of the pelvic girdle meet ventrally to form the pubic symphysis containing fibrous cartilage. The leg bones carry the weight of the body and are involved in the propulsion and the support. Joints are essential for all types of movements involving the bony parts of the body. Ligaments join the bones and tendons connect the bones with the muscle. We can remember it as a bubbly, that is bone to bone is the ligament, and the joints are points of contact between the bones or between bones and cartilages. Force generated by the muscle is used to carry out movement through joints, where the joint act as fulcrum. The movability at these joints vary depending on the different factors. Fulcrum is the force generated by the muscle which is used to carry out the movement through joints. Joints have been Joints have been classified into the three major structural forms, namely fibrous, cartilaginous, and the synovial. Fibrous are which do not allow any. And this type of joint is shown by the flat skull bones, which fuse end to end with the help of the dense fibrous connective tissue in the form of sutures to form the cranium. Other example of fibrous joints is joints between the teeth and the maxilla and teeth and mandible. Teeth and maxilla. Cartilages are the bones involved are joined together with the help of cartilages. The joint between the adjacent vertebra and the vertebral column is of this pattern, and it permits limited movements. Limited, and the pubic symphysis of the pubis is a cartilaginous joint. Symphysis is a cartilaginous joint. Synovial are characterized by the presence of the fluid-filled synovial cavity between the articulating surfaces of the two bones. Such an arrangement allows considerable movement. These joints help in the locomotion. Many other movements, ball and socket between the humerus and the pectoral, hinge, pivot, gliding, and the saddle. Ball and socket between humerus and pectoral girdle. Hinge is the knee joint. Pivot is the between atlas and axis. Gliding is between carpals. Saddle between carpal and metacarpal. Carpal of thumb. Disorders of the muscle and the skeletal are the osteoporosis. It is an age-related disease in which bone loses minerals and fibers from its matrix. Major causative factors are the hormone imbalances like the calcitonin, parathyroid, estrogen, and deficiencies of the calcium as the vitamin D. Osteoporosis. The muscular dystrophy. Myasthenia gravis. Osteomalacia rickets. arthritis, gout, or tetany. It is due to the presence of mutated gene on the X chromosome which is unable to produce dystrophin protein in the skeletal muscle. Due to deficiency of the dystrophin, calcium is not released from the muscles and therefore muscle contraction does not take place. And in the myasthenia gravis, it is an autoimmune disorder affecting neuromuscular junction leading to the fatigue, weakening, and the paralysis of the skeletal muscle. Osteomalacia is called a rickets occurs in the childhood. In this disease, bones contain insufficient amounts of the calcium and the phosphorus. Arthritis is caused by the inflammation of the joints. Rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, arthritis, infectious arthritis are the various types of the arthritis. Gout is caused due to defect in the purine metabolism that causes an excess accumulation of the uric acid and its salt in joint. Tetany is disease which is rapid spasm, wide contraction in muscle due to low calcium in the body fluid. Osteoporosis is the age-related diseases in which the bone loses minerals and fiber from its matrix. Major causative are the lack or deficiency of the calcium and the vitamin D. जो तो लापता फिरा